Breaking news. Gold surges as silver eyes break out. That is the headline at this hour within the precious metals space. The central development is direct and clearly stated. Gold is experiencing a surge. At the same time, silver is watching for a breakout. These two elements define the scope of this report. The term surges indicates that gold is moving upward with notable strength. The wording confirms that gold is advancing. It reflects a pronounced upward move. No specific figures, time frames, or percentages are detailed in the headline. However, the language establishes that the movement in gold is significant enough to be characterized as a surge. Alongside this development, silver is described as eyes breakout. This phrasing signals attention and proximity rather than confirmation. It indicates that silver is approaching a potential breakout. The headline does not confirm that silver has broken out. It does not declare that a decisive move has already occurred. Instead, it communicates that silver is positioned near a level of interest and is being closely watched for a breakout. The structure of the headline places both metals within the same moment of market activity. Gold's surge is presented as the confirmed action. Silver's breakout is presented as a possibility under observation. This distinction is important. Gold's movement is active and defined. Silver's position remains conditional. The word breaking at the beginning of the headline underscores the immediacy of the development. It signals that the situation is current and unfolding. It does not add interpretation. It simply indicates timeliness. Within that context, gold's surge is the primary confirmed event, while silver's potential breakout is the secondary focus. The relationship between gold and silver is implied through their placement together in the headline. However, no direct causal link is stated. The headline does not say that gold's surge is causing silver to approach a breakout. It does not suggest that silver will necessarily follow gold. It presents both developments side by side without further explanation. Gold's surge suggests momentum within the gold market. The term conveys strength and upward movement. Yet, the headline does not describe the scale of the surge beyond that characterization. It does not define resistance levels, trading volumes, or broader economic influences. The report remains confined to the fact of the surge itself. Silver's position, described as eyes breakout, indicates vigilance and potential. The wording suggests that silver is near a threshold that market participants are monitoring. It conveys readiness without confirmation. The breakout has not been declared. The headline carefully preserves that distinction. In financial reporting, precise language is essential. Here, that precision lies in distinguishing between confirmed movement and anticipated movement. Gold is surging. Silver is watching a breakout. The balance between those two conditions shapes the narrative. There is no reference to broader markets in the headline. No mention is made of equities, currencies, or policy developments. The focus is strictly on gold and silver. The information is contained within those parameters. The headline presents a moment of heightened attention in the precious metals sector. Gold is advancing with strength. Silver is approaching a potential breakout point. Both developments are unfolding concurrently, but they are not described as identical in status. One is confirmed, the other is under observation. This opening segment establishes the framework for the report. Gold's surge is the leading development. Silver's breakout watch adds a secondary dimension of interest. No additional context is introduced beyond what is stated. The emphasis remains factual and contained within the language of the headline. As we continue, the next segment will examine the first half of the detailed breakdown, maintaining strict focus on gold's surge and silver's positioning near a potential breakout without extending beyond the scope of the original headline. Continuing with this breaking update, the focus remains on the headline. Gold surges as silver eyes break out. In this portion of the report, attention is directed to the first half of the detailed breakdown, remaining strictly within the scope of the stated developments. The primary confirmed event is the surge in gold. The use of the word surges signifies a strong upward movement in gold's price. It indicates that gold is advancing with notable momentum. While the headline does not provide numerical data, percentages, or time references, the terminology itself reflects a meaningful rise. The movement is characterized as active and ongoing at the time of reporting. A surge, in financial terms, implies a swift or pronounced upward shift. The headline does not define the catalyst behind this movement. It does not attribute the rise to economic indicators, geopolitical developments, or changes in investor behavior. The report remains confined to the fact that gold is surging. No additional interpretation is introduced. This surge establishes gold as the central focus within the current market update. The emphasis is clear. Gold's price action is the leading development. It is not described as stabilizing or consolidating. It is described as surging. The language leaves no ambiguity regarding the direction of movement. At the same time, silver is described as eyes breakout. This phrase conveys attention and proximity. It indicates that silver is approaching a level where a breakout may occur. However, the wording does not confirm that the breakout has taken place. It does not state that silver has moved beyond a defined resistance level. It signals observation rather than confirmation. The distinction between gold's surge and silver's positioning is central to understanding the headline. Gold's movement is definitive. Silver's movement is anticipatory. The breakout is being watched, not declared. This careful differentiation ensures that the report remains factual and avoids overstatement. The phrase eyes breakout suggests that market participants are monitoring silver for a decisive move beyond a previously established boundary. However, no specific level is identified. The headline does not reference chart patterns, trading ranges, or technical thresholds. It communicates only that silver is near a potential breakout point. The coordination of both developments in the same headline implies simultaneous activity within the precious metals sector. Gold is advancing with strength. Silver is nearing a possible breakout, yet the headline does not claim that the two events are directly linked. It does not assert that gold's surge guarantees a breakout in silver. It presents them as concurrent developments. Gold's surge may draw heightened attention within the market, given its role as a widely followed asset. However, the headline refrains from expanding on that context. It does not mention market reaction beyond the surge itself. It does not describe changes in volume or participation. The information remains contained within the movement. Silver's position, meanwhile, introduces a forward-looking element without prediction. The wording eyes breakout conveys readiness and watchfulness. It indicates that silver is being closely observed at this stage. There is no confirmation of a completed move. There is no claim of a sustained breakout. The report maintains discipline in its phrasing. In financial reporting, the difference between a surge and a breakout is meaningful. A surge reflects strong upward price movement. A breakout reflects movement beyond a defined threshold. In this case, gold has surged. Silver is being watched for a breakout. The separation of these terms preserves clarity. This first half of the detailed breakdown reinforces the central message. Gold is advancing with strength. Silver is approaching a level of technical interest. The narrative remains focused and factual. No additional variables are introduced. As we proceed to the next segment, the report will continue with the second half of the detailed breakdown, maintaining a clear and measured examination of gold's surge and silver's positioning near a potential breakout without extending beyond the language of the original headline. In this second half of the detailed breakdown, the focus remains firmly on the two core elements presented in the headline: gold surging and silver watching for a breakout. No additional assumptions are introduced, and the analysis stays within the limits of the stated information. Gold's surge continues to define the tone of the report. The characterization of the move as a surge signals strength and momentum in price action. This wording suggests that the upward movement is notable enough to stand out within current trading conditions. However, the report does not quantify the move. There are no figures, timeframes, or comparative benchmarks provided. The emphasis remains strictly on the directional strength implied by the term itself. The surge in gold represents a confirmed development. It is not described as potential or conditional. The language indicates that the move is already in progress. This distinction is central to the structure of the headline. Gold's position is active and established within the report. Silver, by contrast, remains in a state of anticipation. The phrase "eyes breakout" reflects proximity to a technical threshold. It implies that silver is nearing a level that market participants consider significant. Yet the breakout has not been confirmed. The wording carefully avoids stating that silver has moved beyond resistance or established a new trend. It maintains a measured tone. This contrast between confirmation and observation shapes the broader narrative. Gold's movement is definitive. Silver's movement is preparatory. The breakout remains a possibility rather than a completed event. That separation ensures clarity and prevents overextension of the facts presented. The joint mention of both metals highlights simultaneous attention within the precious metals market. However, no direct causal relationship is stated. The headline does not claim that gold's surge is driving silver's approach toward breakout territory. It does not indicate that one guarantees the other. The developments are presented side by side, without added interpretation. From a reporting standpoint, the disciplined language reinforces neutrality. Gold is surging. Silver is nearing a potential breakout. There is no speculation beyond that framework. No forecasts are made. No external factors are introduced. The focus remains entirely on the described price behavior. As the breakdown concludes, the key takeaway remains unchanged. Gold is experiencing a strong upward move characterized as a surge. Silver is positioned near a level that is being closely watched for a breakout. One development is confirmed, the other is under observation. Together, they define the current moment within the precious metals space, as presented in the original headline. In closing, the headline presents a clear and concise update within the precious metals market. The central development is the surge in gold. The language confirms that gold is advancing with notable strength. This movement is characterized as active and significant, though no numerical details or timeframes are specified. The report remains focused solely on the fact that gold is surging. At the same time, silver is described as eyes breakout. This phrasing indicates that silver is approaching a level where a breakout may occur. However, no breakout has been confirmed. The wording emphasizes observation rather than completion. Silver is being closely watched for a decisive move beyond a defined threshold, but the event itself has not been declared. The distinction between the two metals is clearly maintained. Gold's surge is presented as a confirmed development. Silver's potential breakout remains conditional. The headline connects both movements within the same market moment, yet it does not state that one directly causes the other. No assumptions are introduced, and no projections are made. The use of the term breaking underscores the timeliness of the update. It signals that these developments are current and unfolding. However, the report refrains from adding analysis, context, or external influences. The focus remains strictly on gold's upward surge and silver's positioning near a possible breakout. In summary, gold is moving higher with strength, while silver is nearing a point of technical interest. These are the only confirmed elements presented. No further conclusions are drawn. This concludes the report on breaking gold surges as silver eyes breakout.